Hey everyone, this is FaZe and welcome to my channel. You know, on my channel, we always talk about being productive on Apple gadgets, right? But in today's video, we're gonna do something different. Today, we're gonna talk about how you can relax and enjoy content that Apple creates with Apple TV Plus, because they make amazing TV shows and movies as well. And that is exactly what we're gonna talk about today. And I have a special guest, and my special guest is my cousin, Adil.
Hey, yeah, my name is Adil. Honestly, I'm very excited to be here as a guest speaker, and let's get to it, man.
I always thought I consumed a lot of movies and TV shows, but then with Adil, I realized I'm not there. I'm not at his level. But in today's video, we're just gonna talk about some amazing content that we've been watching on Apple TV Plus. So Adil, do you know when Apple TV first came out?
Yeah, in 2019. I remember it because I was a senior in college.
I remember when Apple first announced their streaming service, I kind of had mixed thoughts on it. I liked their approach because unlike other streaming services where they also license content from other studios and stuff, Apple doesn't really do that.
Yeah, it's all original content primarily, right? Like they don't have that giant catalog like Peacock or Netflix,
Right.
you know, like shows like Friends or sitcoms. Like it's all original content.
I think that is now Apple's biggest superpower. And I think that the quality speaks for itself. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about some TV shows that we really, really recommend. And I'm just going to start that list off with
for sure.
The Morning Show, because it was one of the first Apple shows that came out on their service, right?
Yeah.
And I really like The Morning Show because I think the first off, the performances of Jennifer Aniston, Reese Witherspoon, and obviously in the first season you had Steve Carell.
Yeah.
And I think they all did a phenomenal job.
Yep.
Like I bought them as anchors.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And all the
especially like Reese Witherspoon's character, like phenomenal acting.
So
like,
good. They bring real life elements as well. So for example, with season 1, it was about like the whole Me Too campaign.
Yeah.
The second season was, I think, much more about COVID. And the third one was more about, internal drama within the morning show, and how there's this character played by John Hamm and how he wants to buy. He's like a tech entrepreneur.
Yeah, tech Mongol type guy. Yeah.
And he wants to buy the network. This also sounds very much like how Elon Musk, tech Mongol, wants to buy X, right? Or Twitter at the time. So it's like they bring in real life elements and they find entertaining ways of sharing that, right? And like the whole behind the scenes drama that's going on and all of that stuff, I'm like, I'm buying into it.
Yeah.
And I was like, before I knew it, I was invested. Season 4 is going to come out relatively soon as well. And I remember when I was watching The Morning Show, you were watching C, right? With Jason Momoa?
Yeah, and so that was, I think, one of... I watched it a little bit later on when it came out, but I watched the first season of it, and I'm a big Jason Momoa fan. You know, I've seen him in Game of Thrones, and you know, he's been in DC movies, and he's a great actor. So like the concept is very unique, right? Like it's an apocalyptic world where everyone loses sight primarily, and the main characters of the show are like these two individuals that have sight, and like how the world works between them, and like these people are in a society where like being blind is like being normal, and if you have sight, you're considered like a witch, and you're like killed or like you're sawed upon, like people don't like that, right? So it's a very, very unique concept.
Is it still continuing or has
No,
it ended?
so it only has 3 seasons.
So The Morning Show and C are great shows that we recommend. Another show I'm going to recommend is if you're more in the psychological horror zone, Servant.
Servant, I haven't seen that. Yeah, but I've heard about it.
Great
like, I've
show.
heard about all these. There's so much like shows now.
It's a great show. 4 seasons. It has ended. It's with Rupert Grint, who plays Ron Weasley in the Harry Potter movies.
Nice.
And it was such a great show. Like I was hooked. It has like, it's kind of like, it has an eerie vibe, and you're just kind of like, what's really going on?
Yeah.
It has to deal with the cult as well. So if you're into like something where it's like something sinister is going on in the background, but you don't know what it is, like that suspense, drama, horror elements is what you're going to find in the show Servant. And then one mini series that I watched, which I loved.
Let me know. I want to hear it.
Defending Jacob.
What's it about?
It's a legal drama. It's with Chris Evans, aka Captain America. It's about how his son is basically being I don't remember it too well, but it's basically how he gets trapped in a murder, and how he's a prime,
his son gets trapped. Okay.
And he's a prime suspect.
Okay.
And at first, you're watching it, and I'm not. There's no spoilers here. The trailer shows it also. At first, it's like there's no way he did this. There's no way, right? And the dad, I think the dad, Chris Evans, is a lawyer. Yeah, so he was an assistant district attorney, Andy Barber.
Okay.
And how their 14-year-old son, Jacob, is accused of murder. And
he's 14
years old, right?
Interesting.
And at first, like, it's like, that's my son. I'm gonna protect my son, right? Like, there's no way that that my son's being accused of murder. Like, his whole career, like his career, his
you should watch Adolescence.
Yeah. Okay.
Similar-ish.
All right.
Yeah.
So it's like now the dad's protecting him, right? But as the dad is getting into like the nitty gritty of whatever really happened, he's beginning to think that what if his son did do the murder? Because there's some characteristics.
So he's defending his son initially, not knowing, like, assuming like he didn't kill it, but as he's going through the show, like he's figuring out, oh, maybe he did.
Yeah, and remember, he's in the legal space, right? He is a district attorney, so it's like how. But then as he starts to find things out, then it's like that inner like legal stuff goes away, and that internal like parental like instincts kick in, where it's like, okay, at the end of the day, he's my son. Throughout the show, you don't know if he did the murder or not. You don't know that.
It's 2 seasons or one?
Just
season?
one season. Okay, it's a limited series. You don't know if he's murdered or not.
Yeah.
All you do know is that you see glimpses of like, okay, no, there's no way he did it. Then there's some things where you're like, wait, why did he react this way? Like, why did he just react this way? Like, there's little things like that where you're like, okay, am I overthinking this? Like, should like, that's a kid. Like, of course, like, or if he gets mad, why does he have all this rage within himself? Like, okay,
the kid.
Okay, but then you're also like, well, he is a teenager. So there's so many things where you're like, did he do it? Did he not do it? Then there's things that are unraveled like throughout the episodes where you're like, whoa, okay, I did not know that.
Yeah.
So I highly recommend Defending Jacob. And because Defending Jacob is actually very similar in tone of another great legal drama that both you and I like.
Yeah.
Adil, you want to talk about that one?
Presumed Innocent?
Presumed Innocent.
Yeah,
with
Jake
Gyllenhaal.
Jake Gyllenhaal. Yeah, phenomenal. I think
Here, let me give the synopsis because I love to market this show.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
So imagine you're a lawyer, okay? And you're a criminal lawyer, right? And you solve like murder mysteries and stuff like that.
The best criminal lawyer.
The best, yeah. All right. And you have a friend of yours who is also a great criminal lawyer, and you guys have solved cases together. But one day she is murdered, and you, because you worked with her, she's your colleague and stuff, right? And is it a spoiler to say that like they?
No, I don't think so. They were in a relationship,
and also
together.
they had an affair, an extramarital affair.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's history there between these two, and one day she's murdered. And it's it's sad, it's depressing for Jake Gyllenhaal's character, and he's like, I'm going to take this case on. He also becomes the suspect of that same of that case. So imagine being a lawyer and you're trying to solve a murder case, but then later you are removed from that because you become the lead suspect.
Yeah, which is crazy. Yeah.
So there were so many great twists and turns with this show. I highly recommend that you watch it. Spoilers, you don't find out who actually kills her at the end. Was it Jake Gyllenhaal? Was it someone else?
Yeah.
You don't know. So when the series ends, you do get your answers.
Okay.
But it's like how you get to, and then like the thing is, you're
and
thinking,
it's fun because I like these shows because you're like guessing. I'm like, I'm like, oh, could it be this person? It could be this person. I'm trying to play along as well. Like
what's next? What else do you recommend, Aldo?
Okay, so this was. If you like space, like Interstellar, like if the Martian, those space movies, this was probably one of the shows I binged the most quick for all mankind.
Okay.
And,
I heard about that.
The premise of it is, it's very unique. So I was hooked into it right away. It's an alternate history show where pretty much the premise of it is how the Soviets beat America to the moon.
Oh,
so they like you go through like the Apollo ship like in space and everything, and when they're about to land on the moon, something happens, so America can't land on it, and then a few weeks later, the Soviet Union is the first nation to land on. There's no like Neil Armstrong is not the first person on the moon in this world. Okay. So that's why it's a unique story because it's like the Soviets are there, and this is during like Cold War tensions and stuff like that. So it just goes up from there. And it's like America doesn't stop there. Like a space race kind of begins.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, we got to one up you now. And so they, instead of being like the first ones on the moon, they're like, we're going to be the first ones to build a base on the moon.
Okay.
You know, so we can launch like nuclear warheads and things like that.
Yeah.
And eventually it just progresses back and forth as more nations are kind of like coming into the space race.
Yeah.
Really unique concept. I binged it really quickly because I love space.
Yeah.
So again, I don't think this show is for everyone, but if you like Interstellar, if you like The Martian, it's a really, really good watch and you can binge it pretty quickly.
Okay.
Very interesting. Yeah.
So this show that I'm going to talk about next, it was released on February 18, 2022. And it first came out when I remember watching the trailer and I was intrigued.
Yeah.
But I didn't know it was going to be a huge phenomenon that it ended up becoming. Do you know what show I'm talking about?
All right. What does it start with?
S.
Severance.
There you go.
Bro, yes. Phenomenal show. In this world, in this show, it basically involves these employees at a company that have undergone a procedure called severance, you know, that splits their memories into their work life and personal life. So like it kind of creates two different distinct personalities. The work life is called innies and their personal life is called outies. And the unique concept is that these two personalities don't converge. They go inside their work, they go down an elevator, and then instantly, because of the surgery operations that they had, they get switched into their work life mode. And then once they leave work, they're back to their personal life. And so it's a very interesting concept just because like you don't get to remember any of those memories. They never overlap. You have no idea what you did at work. And your work self has no memories. Like you're a brand new person basically inside this world.
Trust me when I say this, Severance is one of the best TV shows out there, not just on the Apple TV Plus streaming service, but just in the world of streaming, just in the world of television. It is one of the best shows and I highly recommend it. Oh, and we're gonna now go towards comedy. We'll come back to drama, but let's go to comedy for a second. Because if we're talking about Severance, which I think really took Apple TV Plus on an all new level. And I think more people subscribe to Apple TV Plus because of this show. I think one show that really like people who didn't even know what Apple TV Plus was, what it really like put it on the roadmap was Ted Lasso. Do you want to talk about what Ted Lasso is about?
Yeah, so this is like, I think I fell in love with Apple TV once I watched this show. It's a funny, unique concept where an American football coach is hired to coach a Premier League soccer team, basically, and kind of take this soccer team, which is at the bottom of rankings, and transform it into a top soccer team in its division. And it's really unique because it's like such a heartfelt, comedic show. Like you truly feel for all these characters. Ted Lasso's character, played by Jason Sudeikis, is honestly one of the greatest characters in TV history.
Oh yeah,
like
hands down.
Without a doubt. Like everyone, you love this character so much. The amount of joy you get from watching him on TV and on screen is like, I can't even compare him to anyone because people are compared to Ted Lasso's character more so.
Yeah.
And I just think it's a very unique story just because you're tied with his character and his journey. He's going through like this divorce or breakup with his wife. He's moving across the Atlantic to go from coaching football to coaching soccer. And this man knows nothing about soccer. Like he has zero knowledge, which is really funny because I watch football and basketball. And I think I have a lot of knowledge for those two sports. I don't think I'm a soccer expert. So it's fun watching this because I was learning more about soccer myself.
Yeah.
Honestly, if you dislike this show, you don't like to watch TV.
Yeah.
I don't know what you like.
Consistently, all 3 seasons are great. The way season 3 ends, phenomenal.
Yeah.
Obviously, as fans, you want more of Ted Lasso and the team and everyone because you love them. They become like family in a way. So when the season ends, you're kind of like sad.
I know.
But it is such a satisfying conclusion.
It is. I was satisfied as a TV watcher, and I've watched so many TV shows, right? I generally enjoyed the ending.
So bottom line, go check out Ted Lasso. It's amazing. All right.
If we had to give one Apple TV show a rec, and only one, that one would be Ted Lasso.
Yeah. But speaking of Ted Lasso, there is another show that I do want to talk about, and it's with Jason Segel. called Shrinking.
Yeah.
So Adil, do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. So similar to Ted Lasso, Shrinking is one of those shows that kind of blends, like humor, heart, and like emotional like feelings. It's incredibly like a human show, and it just shows like life isn't linear, right? And shows and going through emotional breakdowns isn't linear. There's ups and downs in life, and I think Ted Lasso and Shrinking illustrate that really well in these shows. So the premise of Shrinking is not a spoiler, right? The main character, played by Jason Segel, he's going through this rough patch because his wife recently passed away in a car accident. She was hit by a drunk driver, and he's a therapist. So he's going through this, issue in life about losing his love of his life, and at the same time, he's a father of a teenage daughter, and struggling through that. And it just shows how he's struggling being a therapist and raising his teenage daughter, and like how he's going through this journey of losing his loved one, balancing his patience and balancing being a good father.
And it sounds very hard hitting, right? Which it is, right? But the way they execute this, right?
Yeah.
Is through a fun, lighthearted manner, right?
Yeah.
His daily interactions with his coworkers. By the way, Harrison Ford is in it.
Yeah.
Brett Goldstein from Ted Lasso is in it. So I think like there's just so much, from performances to the humor to like
Harrison Ford's dry humor approach is like so funny.
Yeah,
Like
he's the funny one, to be honest.
Like his like I think like Jason Segel's character is like, again, like similar to like Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
He's like the glue. His relationships with every character is incredibly important, but the supporting cast is relationships internally with each other is also a unique part of the show. Like even if Jason Segel wasn't in the show, it's carried by a stellar cast in their relationships, right?
Yeah.
I think my favorite guy is the neighbor's husband.
Yeah, he's
like
hilarious.
his jokes are so funny. And
not even the husband. I even like the neighbor.
Yeah. So the neighbor initially, like I disliked in the beginning because I was annoyed with her.
Yeah, I was annoyed by her.
And then I got used to her, and I was like, honestly, like that's what this show does. Like you don't like characters, and then you eventually love them.
Yeah.
Right. And like it's not just carried by the main character, the main cast. These supporting characters are really good, and I think this show is really unique in that aspect with Ted Lasso, and how it does a great job balancing comedy, humor, and emotion.
And what I love about Ted Lasso and Shrinking is that it's just a show about good people trying to do good things, right? And they just make you feel good. They're honestly just feel good shows. So, and I feel like, sometimes you just want that. You don't always want to be like, wait, what's the plot? Like, some convoluted plot or something.
Yeah.
No, sometimes you just want to lay back. You just want to be invested with the characters, you know, and that's how Ted Lasso is. That's how Shrinking is. Honestly, they all become like family members.
Yeah.
And Shrinking is still going on. Season 2 just wrapped up, like I think a few months ago. Season 3 is being filmed right now. Michael J. Fox is officially confirmed to be in it as well. So I'm super excited about season 3.
Yeah.
Obviously, we don't have time to talk about every single show. But some other great comedy shows that I do recommend is Physical. It's basically about Sheila Rubin, played by Rose Byrne, and her journey of self-discovery via aerobics, and how she wants to be like an aerobics coach and kind of create her own studio and stuff like that. So that's really good. Speaking of studio.
Yeah. Oh, Studio. Yeah. So the Studio is a recent show that Apple TV has just come out with. It just actually wrapped up with a season finale a few days ago.
Season 2 is already announced.
Yeah, and season 2 is already announced. And pretty much the premise of it is how Seth Rogen's character becomes a studio head of this big studio organization, and he's trying to balance the tightrope of making good art and making money, like blockbusters that are good movies. And it just goes in the day in life of him, and it's just honestly, it's like 30 minutes and it's a very bingeable show now that the whole season has come out. And I think the cinematography of every episode is very unique. The art style is very unique. The plot stories, like, again, it's one of those shows like that has no big general plot. Like every episode is just like going about Seth Rogen's life. And there's like obviously a high overall plot line, but it's not like anything like deep.
It's funny. It's just a funny show. But I will say, like, what I like about it is that Seth Rogen was saying in one of his interviews, it's actually showing you like a behind the scenes look of how it is for a studio head. And
we don't know that, right? As viewers, like we have no idea what goes around in the background. So this show is giving you insights of like what a studio exec and their team kind of goes through in the day-to-day life, like developing movies, like connecting with directors and actors, greenlighting a movie, like all that.
Competition, you know, also like competition. And then in what they do is they bring real life examples.
Yeah, like the AI example.
Yeah, the
was
AI
really
example
good.
was good. How, like, you know, nowadays there's like a huge issue of like artificial intelligence replacing actual
Yeah.
people on movie
Like
sets, or
animators and, like,
and
yeah.
stuff. Then they brought up how, like, you know, Barbie was based on a toy, right? And you know, like how movies like Transformers have been based on toys and stuff. So
Yeah.
well, let's do a movie based on Kool-Aid.
Yeah, it's
right?
like funny, unique,
Very
concept.
funny things, and then you get the best of the best cameos.
Yeah, honestly, out of all the Apple TV shows we watched, this show has the most killer cameos
yeah.
ever.
Like Martin Scorsese, Anthony Mackie, right? Is
Yeah, yeah, Anthony Mackie, you know, the Falcon, Zac Efron, Zoe Kravitz, like
Dave Franco.
Yeah, Dave Franco. Our very own, you know, Walter White, Bryan Cranston is a cameo character.
Yeah.
Catherine O'Hara was a cameo, but became a recurring character. So like these are big names we're telling, like huge names, A-list actors coming in for cameo roles.
Yeah. And they said that season 2 is actually going to have even bigger cameos.
That's crazy. Yeah. Like when I saw Zac Efron, I didn't even know, because it doesn't come out with trailers really. So you don't know these cameos are happening until you're watching the show. And like seeing like big names like Zoe Kravitz and Zac Efron, I was like, whoa, this is big.
What I like is that the cameos are actually justified. They're actually a part of the plot.
Yeah, yeah. Like these actors are actually acting as their real selves, technically, in this show. And it's phenomenal. Seth Rogen does a beautiful job with this show, and the writing and the comedic timing of everything. I think it's slowly becoming one of my favorite Apple TV shows.
Are there any other comedies that we just want to briefly talk about? Because I think so far, when it comes to the dramas and the comedies and sci-fis, we've pretty much covered our favorites, or the ones that we recommend. But are there any others that you could think of?
I think there's a good hybrid between these two genres.
Okay.
And it's called Your Friends and Neighbors.
Oh, how did we forget that?
Yeah. And the crazy thing is, FaZe mentioned to me when we were like traveling one time, he got the alert. He was like, this is like us like watching episode 4 or 5 together, right?
Yeah.
He's like, they already renewed season 2.
And they're starting filming soon.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You have to give the synopsis for this. It's hilarious.
So basically it starts off with how John Hamm's character named Coop, he is going through a divorce and he gets fired from his hedge fund job. And he's just, because of his, you know, alimony payments and stuff like that, and having no job, he goes through that Walter White route and goes into crime. But he doesn't like make drugs and stuff like that. And his crime is stealing valuables like jewelry and, you know, important things from his friends and neighbors.
Think like Rolex watches, Hermes handbags, stuff
Birkin
like that.
bags, stuff like that. Things like, and because he knows his friends and neighbors pretty well, he knows the type of things to steal that they would not miss, right? Like imagine someone having like 12 Rolexes. They don't care about all 12 equally, obviously. He would steal something that like is extremely valuable, but something that wouldn't be missed by his friend or neighbor, right? And so he does this slowly. And I think the show is very unique because it goes through like, the ending of the show is like completely different from its first 30 to 40 minutes, right? It's a unique, like its first 30, 40 minutes is like that comedy drama type show. Like it goes through his life, how he's adjusting to his divorce, raising his kids, trying to figure out, you know, how to get a new job and stuff like that. And the last 10, 15 minutes are him like thief mode. Like he's like complete different genre shit. Like we talk about Severance and Shrinking and Ted Lasso. And those are like that's like top tier Apple TV shows, right? I think Your Friends and Neighbors has potential to reach those heights, which is a bold take, but like the stellar cast with John Hamm and his team is like incredible. Like the writing style is unique. The fact that they already are filming season 2, which I didn't know, incredible. Like it's honestly, I think gonna be one of the Apple TV's like biggest hits.
I feel like with Apple TV, right when a good show comes out, like Your Friends and Neighbors, right? There's already another show that's about to come out called Stick, which is apparently in the same lines as Shrinking and Ted Lasso, where it's fun, lighthearted with Owen Wilson, right?
Yep, Owen Wilson.
So that's coming out soon. You know what the great thing about Apple TV is? Apple goes for the best writers, best directors, best actors, and you're invested.
Like they're focused on quality over quantity, which is why FaZe and I mentioned like this. Like Apple TV is literally the new HBO Max. Even back in the heyday, before Apple TV was a streaming platform, Netflix was great, Hulu's great, Prime is great. But at the end of the day, the best quality shows were on HBO Max, right? Because HBO Max is to me still like top dog.
Yeah.
And Apple TV is like crawling up the ladder and reaching HBO status.
Oh yeah. And the great thing is that Apple is also getting very serious about movies. Clearly made a huge name for themselves for great television, right? And they're continuously coming out with great television.
Yep.
But for movies as well, they're doing a great job. Now, I can't personally list a great movie that I've liked because their catalog of movies is
very
a lot
small,
smaller,
very small. Yeah.
But it's about to grow,
Yeah.
and apparently it's going to get just as great. Fountain of Youth with John Krasinski
Yeah.
just came out.
Yeah, just I still have to watch it.
I
but
need
it
to
looks
watch
pretty
that also.
interesting. I won't give a rating, obviously, because I haven't seen it.
Yep. Highest to Lowest with Denzel Washington
I haven't seen
is about to come out, and it's an A24 movie. So Apple partnered up with A24
Oh, nice.
for that.
Yeah.
Yep. Then there's Echo Valley, which is about to come out, which is like a suspense thriller with Julianne Moore and Sydney Sweeney.
Oh, wow.
So that's coming out. Then you've got probably one of Apple's biggest movies yet. Probably not just Apple's, but I think one of the biggest movies of this year, F1 with Brad Pitt.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on that?
Honestly, the trailer I just saw recently, I got goosebumps.
Oh yeah.
Like generally, like I was like, because the trailer also like gave me enough of the, like, I don't know what's gonna happen, but it gave me enough of like an understanding of what this movie is gonna be about.
Yeah.
And honestly, it didn't give me everything.
Yeah.
And I love it when
Yeah.
trailers don't give me everything. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to know the best action sequence.
Yeah.
I don't want to know the whole plot. I don't want to know everything and have me just watch the movie and waste my time.
Yeah.
So I thought the trailer was phenomenal. And the fact that like Brad Pitt has been in the works for this, we've been hearing about this for years.
Yeah.
Right? Like he's been doing this Formula One research for years now.
Yeah.
Like I think like end of pandemic, like that's when he's like, I knew he was like traveling to F1 races and like doing his research. So honestly, like I'm super excited for it. I think it's going to put Apple TV more on the map because
Hands
now
down.
like they're actually like making this big movie.
And I will say, so F1 is going to come out in theaters first. It's going to come out. I already got my tickets. It comes out, I think, June 27th. I'm going to an early screening for it a couple days before it comes out. But of course, it will come on Apple TV Plus shortly after.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, you know, Apple is working on not just creating the best TV series, right? But they're also very serious about movies. Apple TV is one of the best streaming services out there. Don't be disheartened by their catalog because it's growing and it's growing rapidly. And whatever they have right now is great, and it's only gonna get better from here.
I mean, like Faison and I have watched a lot of TV shows,
yeah.
and he mentioned like 10 shows that I haven't watched, and I mentioned like 10 he hasn't watched.
Yeah.
So like, and we've seen a good portion of the catalog.
Yeah.
And there's still so much more, and like that's so like freshening to hear because in 2019, I wouldn't think that. I would think there would only be like 5 or 10 shows, but like from new users, like. This subscription is only like $10 a month.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
And if you get a family plan with it, right? Every member
like Apple One, right? If you get the Apple One subscription, then it's like kind of factored into your cost
with the Apple Music and everything like that. And I think it's like it's arguably one of the cheapest subscriptions out there. Yeah. And the quality of the shows it has now, it's like a no-brainer. You have to get it. Like
absolutely.
You're getting HBO Max quality content for a fraction of the cost.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. But at the end of the day, like Adil and I just said, there is so much more on Apple TV Plus that is yet to be explored by the both of us, right? And there's so much more that's coming out. So please let us know in the comments section below what TV shows and movies have you seen on Apple TV Plus that you recommend. And so comment below, let us know. Also, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already done so. But if you enjoyed this video, and you want to see more content like this, not just about Apple TV, but a lot of other movies and TV shows and rumors and speculations about movies and TV shows, follow the Faison and Adil Show. I have the link for it in the description below. It's literally just like this. It's great. We're having a lot of fun talking about movies.
No, yeah, from Harry Potter to Marvel to Mission Impossible to anything hip, new, and crazy that's coming out on anything TV or movie related.
Like I said, the link is in the description below. Go follow that channel. I hope you enjoyed this video, and also let us know if you want to see more videos like this on my channel, right? I know I talk a lot about productivity, but sometimes you just want to have fun and just watch TV and relax, right? And so this is the first time where I'm talking about not being productive, and it is very strange. But let me know if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so. I'll see you next time.